Have you ever been hit with a reality check that really just was a gut punch? Well, this past week, actually on a social media post, of all places, I got a big reality check for myself. On the last episode, I was kind of alluding to this, and I wanted to share more insights about that. So there was this post that I made about asking for a US-based position. I wanted to hire somebody here in the States to help out with our job tread builds, help create some strategy. And it was really kind of a higher level position, or eventually would lead to that. But because of where my business is at right now, while we are having some great successes, I'm not ready or not in a position to be able to pay somebody $30, $40, $50 an hour, or pay multiple people that. One reason was just because of income, or that's really the reason why. But also, as I saw some of the comments, which was great feedback, was that as I mentioned, one of the comments they mentioned about, hey, the rate that I gave was a low rate, but really, especially for the type of role it was. And I will admit that it was a bit low. I wanted to pay more, but I'm not positioned to be able to pay more. And then I mentioned that in the comment, just being very frank about it. And then somebody else commented and said, well, maybe you need to raise your prices. And that was really a gut check. I mean, it was something that I knew I probably should do. I knew based on positioning, where we were at. We were definitely on the lower end of the market for our services. And honestly, I was just scared. We were finally seeing success. And I was worried, what would that look like if I really raised prices? But the thing is, what would it look like if I didn't raise prices? And so I started making comparisons, and I really want to dig in behind the scenes a little bit of what I did here. So I literally put together our service package and said, okay, based on that, how many hours that would take to fulfill, and what would the hourly rate look like. I put in like a marketing budget, overhead budget, besides just the implementer, the job tread specialist, but also our overhead for me having to get involved, our operations manager, just the onboarding of the client, things like that. And then I also put a commission in there. And I realized, wow, we are severely underpriced. And again, I already knew that, but I didn't have those numbers in place. And so if you feel like you're underpriced or you're not sure how to price yourself, those are some of the things that I did. I took our current price and I broke that down into what the one person or multiple people, however your business is working, how much money it costs to be able to do that, or how many hours, and have that on an hourly rate, and then add in some kind of marketing. I did 10% for marketing. And because of our prices not being $100,000 for a build, we're not doing that for job tread build outs. So my commissions are a bit higher for a future salesperson. I put them at 20%. Our overhead I only put at 1%, just because that overhead will be spread out amongst all the jobs that we get and everything. And right now we don't have a ton of overhead. Eventually that's going to go up as well. So again, our prices will increase. But for now, I just put 1% on overhead. I put obviously the overhead of the person doing the work, 10% for marketing, and 20% for sales commission on our services. And that really helped me understand my numbers a lot more. And there's probably more that I could do. I probably could have dug in more with something like ChatGPT or Claude AI, which is what I'm really starting to get into now. Claude seems to be a lot better. ChatGPT just basically regurgitates whatever you said with an answer, and it makes it sound like it did something. Again, another side note, but it was really a gut check for me, because I realized that we were not priced properly, especially if I wanted to grow the business. I was able to make money for sure, but I wasn't able to make enough to really be able to invest into things like marketing, which was why I put a marketing budget in there. Because I realized, well, if I want to go sponsor events, if I want to go to conferences, if I want to fly my team out to do different things, I need to have that money set aside. If I want to hire a salesperson, I need to have that money built into our pricing. And I think this is something that a lot of small business owners get wrong. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I had that wrong. I priced based on where we were at versus where we're trying to go. And if you're trying to grow, you have to position yourself in a way to be able to start growing. Because if you position yourself for where you're at right now, you're never, ever going to be able to grow. Sure, maybe you'll get lucky, something will happen, some breakthroughs, and maybe your team doubles up on something, but they're going to start burning out. So how do you position yourself in a way to actually be able to grow the business? It's by making sure that you have the margins set up in there. And it's not simply if it costs your team $1,000 to fulfill something that you say we're going to put a 25% markup on that, which really isn't even a 25% margin. But we'll just go with simple math. Say we're going to add an extra 25% to that. So that's $1,250. Say you've made $250 on that project. Do you really think that you're going to be able to do anything with that? No, that's going to go right back in to the next project. So you can make sure you can make payroll. So in order to be able to actually grow, you need to start putting in things such as marketing, such as sales commission, such as some overhead that's going to help out with those projects. Of course, a little, what's the name of it? I can't think, but basically putting in a little extra just in case you can't figure it out. Just in case something comes up, something hits the fan. I forget what, swag is what typically say. Like semi-wild a guess is what they say, but put a little swag in there as well, swag percentage. But you need to start thinking about where you're trying to go in your business. If you're really wanting growth, and this is the same thing in your life. If you want to grow, start acting like where you're trying to be, not where you're at now. And so it's the same thing with your business. I know it's imposter syndrome. I know it's scary to go up on your prices. But if you don't start playing for where you want to be, you're never going to get there. So position yourself properly in your business. Take account of that. Take a step back. Increase your prices and watch how you're going to be able to grow because of that. But also be ready for more no's. That's coming. But every yes you get means more profit than you had on every yes before that. And how many jobs more do you have to do at your current rates than you would do at a new rate in order to break even? Think about that as well. I mean, if you went up on your prices 100%, you would need 2 jobs or 1 job at the new price would be 2 jobs at the old price. Something like that, if I did my math right. But just think about that on a bigger scale. Now you either have to do twice the amount of work at your current rate or do half the work at a new rate. That sounds pretty good to me, especially as a business owner. Less headache, less people you got to hire, really better clients in the end, because those that pay more tend to pay more attention, tend to appreciate the work that you are actually doing and value that work. So don't be afraid to go up on your prices. The worst thing that you do is give a discount to that person. Hopefully you don't have to, but that's the worst thing. You try it on a couple people before it officially comes out. Try different things. I mean, that's what we've done. We've incrementally gone up, but now that I know where I need to be at, that's going to be our new price. We're honoring prices of people that we've talked to. We've also already went up a little bit on some of them that we've talked to and just said, hey, we've had to adjust. And we're giving them a bit of a discount from where we want to be because we already had that talk and had sent out some information that came back to us. It wasn't within like a 30-day window or anything like that. But regardless, I wanted to make sure that we could help them out and not just be this drastic change. But make sure that you're positioning yourself for where you want to be in your business and not for where you're at now.